It's Laura Eubanks of Design for Serenity with your succulent tip of the day, and it's Walkabout Wednesday on this gorgeous day of September 22nd, right? Yes, close enough. It's Walkabout Wednesday, and it's mid-September. The weather has cooled. It is a fantastic fall day. So last week we didn't look at the shade garden at all, so I wanted to touch in on it. Greg and I were, going back on the calendar to establish just how long these plants have actually been here. And it's been 6 weeks, y'all. I know, right? I can't believe it either. But 6 weeks, and so far so good. I mean, I have these little Graptopetalum Fred Ives. I've got my Aeonium cuttings, the string of pearls, and the Tradescantia and the Sansevieria, and I was concerned that the Fred Ives might, etiolate. I feel like this one in the head planter is a little bit, but not offensively so. I kind of like this. I kind of like the way it looks. So, if you come over here, Greg, and look back here, these are the plants I was most concerned about etiolating. And, these little Vera Higgins, totally. Isn't that so interesting? Look at how they turned to pull toward the light. And again, I don't hate that. I don't not like the way this looks. So I'm super encouraged with this arrangement. I don't think I'm going to have to really mess with it at all. My Lactea crest is doing fantastic right here. I still have every intention of pulling it out of that red pot at some point. But for now, that's just life. Some of you have commented that the fountain is askew, and you're absolutely right. This was just kind of temporary. We brought it from Chula Vista. We needed to get it installed, but ultimately we need to put it on a bed of rock, and it will be a lot more stable at that point. So yeah, we'll get it all straightened out when we finish this installation. Remember, I've been working just with what I had on hand to kind of knock this area out, and it was extraordinarily therapeutic and really enlightening for me, because I've not really had the opportunity to work that way before. I always have everything I need right on hand, and I was waiting until I had everything I needed, and I thought, no, we're just going to see what happens. And what that process told me was that I didn't need as many plants as I thought I did. I'm not going to overplant this area. We have a fountain to install right over here, succulent fountain adjacent, succulent bird bath adjacent. And, yeah, maybe a few more little things right here, but this is basically going to be it. I also, want to take this opportunity, since we're here, to thank you guys for calling me out on my attitude toward the split leaf. You're absolutely right. I was being super snarky about it, and it wasn't kind, and it wasn't nice. And I'm humbled and appreciative. I don't want to hurt anybody's feelings. We are caretakers at this property, and as such, we should be far more respectful of the property. So I am, I was just really humbled by your gentle way of calling me out. And again, the more I look at this, the more thankful that I am that we're here. There are so many beautiful things to be thankful for. It could be so much worse, right? I mean, this could be a giant messy pepper tree or something. So this is all going to work. It's going to be beautiful, wonderful. I will pull this all together, and if if I am truly a designer, I will make it work, won't I? It is my job to make it work, and I am standing up to the challenge. Some of you commented that you were concerned about the cactus over here getting enough light, and I'm not. I mean, that was a really good point, and you were absolutely spot on to be concerned. But these have been sitting here for 6 weeks, and they look great. You know, they're not showing any signs of distress whatsoever. And I'm super encouraged, and I think that they are going to be extremely happy campers here in this shady spot in the garden. You can see that we have a couple challenges. We've got some irrigation here that Greg will cut and cap, and I've got the valves that I need to not hide necessarily, but just camouflage. And that's all part of a good design too, is drawing the eye where you want it to go, knowing that not everything is necessarily going to be perfect. Speaking of that, let's go look at the back. Okay, so I know you're going, wait, what's going on with the sound? Turns out that my receiver died. It must have got left on yesterday after yesterday's video, because I just charged them the night before. So I gotta shoot part 2 of Walkabout Wednesday all over again, and appreciate your patience. But that's okay. Let's do it. Let's walk about. Some of you suggested the possibility of pulling the succulent chair into the front yard landscape, and I love that idea. I really want the chair to be appreciated, but I do appreciate it back here too. I really like it potting bench adjacent, but we'll see. I think that's a really, really great idea, and I thank you for suggesting it. And I'll mess with that. Rebutia, this cactus that is on the graft, I don't have any experience at all with grafted cactus, and my question to you is, can I remove it from the graft? Can I cut it and set it? I would really love to support this plant as a rebutia, not as a grafted. So let me know if that's possible, because this is acclimated now. It's really happy here. I've had it for probably 6 months, and so far so good. Very successful with this plant. The lithops, not so much. I'm really surprised these didn't actually die through our heat wave. These can be a really sensitive plant, and you can see that this got burnt because this just got slammed with the sun. This one too. These aren't exactly show pieces anymore, are they? So I think I can do better in these specimen pots, and I think what I'll do is just move these into the garden proper. They're very coral reefy, and I think if I stage them next to a pot rock, they could be quite interesting. We'll see about that. Okay, over here, I love this little section of the garden so much. I really mounded this up a lot, you guys. I know you can't really see it in the video, but I did, especially considering how small this is. And this was just an old, hedge that had been sheared into a rectangle. And I'm so thrilled with how this little vignette came together. I love the flagstone staged upright as, like a boulder. I have to give credit to Michael Gritzner, my coral reef client in University City, for giving me this idea. I've got 1, 2, 3 rocks in here kind of shoring up my mound. And then I also planted an aloe blue elf back here to act as support, because I don't want the soil, rushing back against the house. I want to keep the soil away from the house. And then I used also this little pot with the little butthole cactus. The main thing, I kind of stopped calling it that. The main thing cactus, I used this for retention as well, along with a little bit of rubble. This was an afterthought. These were plants that were left over. This rock was here, the back rock was there, the flagstones left over. This honey quartz rubble I brought from Chula Vista. This just again goes to show you what you can accomplish with what you have on hand. This is just leftover stuff. One of the things that I love most about this little installation is this ghosty, which is just a long cutting that I took from the grapefruit tree pot. And I just thought that gave this a funky look and a look of age. This Echeveria down here is happy. Check it out, the bloom. Not an aphid in sight. Bam. Super happy about that. Those little lithops, you know, we could stage them, you know, maybe right in this area here, next to this little myrtillo cactus, which is super happy tucked up under that rock. We could stage them right here. I mean, there's 100 places in the garden we could stage those little lithops, and I think they would be really cute, and I would enjoy them very much. Oh wow, this is a really great perspective. Can I see the phone for a second, Greg? Pardon my fingers, but guys, look. This is what I'm looking at right now. Isn't that so pretty? You know, this just brings up the point of how important it is to have vignettes in the garden, places to sit, where you can grab a different perspective of your plants. This is where the mounding really, really comes into play. Okay, Greg, thank you. Just wanted you guys to see that. I did water back here this week for the first time since, you know, we had our massive heat wave, and I promise I will show you a watering video soon. Basically, it's the hose with the hose end sprayer on shower, and it's just that. It's just a shower. I don't stand and soak things. I just rinse everything off. It took me about 10 minutes to water this whole garden. Aw, this little Pizzanii euphorbia is sure happy, happy, happy. She will lose all her leaves this winter, but man, she is living her best life. This is such a cute potted plant. I love the yellow pot and the blue fireglass. This coin plant, I didn't know if it was going to make it. It was so incredibly miserable through the heat wave, and it's still not the happiest, but it didn't die. It also has not yet shown any signs of new life. You know, I'm looking at the ends, I'm looking for new growth, and I'm not seeing any. So what this tells me is I need to be careful not to water this too much, because it's still pouting and it's still clearly dormant. So until I see some signs of life, it's best to provide what shade I can and limit the H2O. Oh, you Australians are so funny. You asked me if I could post, you know, we are America here, we're, you know, not the smartest, and we still work with Fahrenheit. We're like, what are we, like one of 3 countries left in the world that is still on Fahrenheit? And you asked if, when I state the temperature, if I could post the Celsius equivalent. I don't know. Don't know what that is. Sorry, but that's so funny. You guys give me so much credit. Oh my gosh. I'm sorry, that just, you know, free stream of consciousness here. That just popped into my head. This area we don't talk about enough. Look at all the oranges on the orange tree. I limbed this and laced this along with the lime on the other side, and I fed it with the spoma citratone, and it has rewarded me with such beautiful fruit and new growth. I'm so pleased about that. Also, really, really loving my mangaves. And that you can get mangaves at Waterwise Botanicals now. They've got 7 or 8 different varieties readily available for you. This is Lavender Lady. And I'm just so eager to see how these are going to grow and mature in this garden. Here's Silver Fox right there. And you'll note that that Millii is looking lively. I didn't lose a single one, I'm thrilled to report. They pouted and they were not happy, but none of them died. My Fred Ives crest still looks rough. I have faith though. I really believe that this is going to make a comeback and be really stunning. It just needs a little more time. You know, here's microclimates for you guys. Look at this coin plant. This one is thrown off new growth. Look at that. and it's just the happiest of campers, where its cohort on the other side is still struggling just to survive. So who knows? I don't know why I don't talk about my agave Victoria Reginae compacta more. I adore this plant. This is one of my pride and joys, and I just want you to know that, sweetie. The agavoides are, here's some rotten under leaves for you. No big deal, they're under leaves, not worried about it. As long as the stuff at the crown looks good, you're all right. We'll just take those yucky black leaves off.
Remember to speak up.
But yeah, this arrangement here has defied expectations. Look, we've got some new growth too. Check that out back there. That's a new one. Very, very exciting. I just want this to flush out. I hope it takes over. I challenge you to take over. Okay, moving on. The Pachypodium Lemerii Crest. Cannot wait for this to bloom. Isn't that going to be amazing? I'm wondering if we'll have flowers just all along the midline here. Excited for that to happen. Oh my gosh, everything is just so pretty. I mean, you know, MVP has to be my agave attenuata variegata. It got so hammered, didn't it? Leaves broken off. I mean, the move was rough, but it persevered, and it has thrown off 1, 2, 3, 4 new leaves since we moved in 6 weeks ago. So I feel very strongly that this damage is going to be a thing of the past in no time at all as these new leaves start to unfurl. So I'm very encouraged about that. Over here, we've got my spiral cactus, my spiralis. Who knows? Stand back. Don't know what that's going to do. Remember, we learned that if you turn it, it can screw up its spiral, and I didn't think about that. So when we moved from Chula Vista, this new environment, new exposure, it just went rogue on me. But I think it's funny. I've decided to embrace it, and remember that this point right here is when we moved to Vista. We have purple people eater right here, Agave, and Pineapple Express right here. Can't wait to see what those are gonna do. All of my, really just all of my little sensitive little Grapta petalums, Graptivarius, sedums, they all are looking good. Really starting to perk up and look good. My blue atolls, some of these were looking rough. Remember, this one here was starting to rot, so we stuck the baby. We had this mother adopt that little baby under there. It's looking great. Very, very happy. Lemons just need to turn yellow so I can eat them. Very excited about that. Look at me, such a homesteader, right? Wow. Oh, this breeze feels amazing. Let's start taking note of the Ramosissima, guys. That little baby aloe Ramosissima, it looks like it's thrown off another head. It looks like I have 3 heads now. And I'm gonna try really, really hard not to kill this one. I overwatered the last one I had and I killed it. I'm gonna try to do a lot better. Here is my Agave kaleidoscope. Starting to see some pretty pink tinges there. I really am excited to see this turn much pinker. The Aluaudia procera has defied all expectations as a cutting. With the strong winds that we've had, I expected to come out and find it on the ground, and she is still standing and hasn't even dropped a leaf. So hats off to the Aluaudia. And guys, remember last week in Walkabout Wednesday, this aloe, you know, I beheaded it. Remember, it was as green as the pot that it's in, and I told you that it would color up, and it is doing it. It's not making a liar out of me, is it? It's going to be really fun to watch that color continue to deepen. I'm curious to see if it'll stay russet like that or if it will turn orange. Fun to watch. Oh, so much to see. So much to see. Over here, I've got Agave Mission to Mars. Right there. That one gets big. Can't wait. And remember when I was futzing around underneath my aeonium crest and I broke a branch off and stuck it in the ground? Looking good. It's not upset with me. And this Pachypodium lomerii that we adopted from a client that didn't want it, and yeah, jury's out. I don't know yet. It may be dead, but I keep coming out every day to see if there's any life up top, and I am not ready to give up on it yet. From my seat inside in the living room, I can see this Aloe ferox, and these can get massive. But we'll see, won't we? If it starts to look like it's going to get massive, I'll need to move it because it'll be too close to the lime, which is also so thankful that I fed it and deep watered it and laced it and cut out all the dead wood, and it has got hundreds and hundreds of fruits on it. Wish I ate them. I'll have to figure out some use for the limes. We could probably squeeze them into water, huh? Mm-hmm. Yeah, we love lemon. Okay, so here's another silver fox. Another Mission to Mars. Over y'all there. Oh my gosh, everything is doing so good. It's thriving. It just really makes me happy. I'm so thrilled with this garden, guys. It's just a playground. You know, my little collectibles, I've had to kind of start over on those because I killed most of them when I moved. And so I picked up a couple of new cactus at Waterwise. Deborah Lee Baldwin came by to see the garden and gave me this Lophocerius in this beautiful pot. And then of course I've got the little feather cactus here. So, patience, it'll all come together, won't it? This Pentalanthus Bractiatus is another thing that is amazing me. Remember, we grabbed these cuttings from the Gleasons a month ago, I'd say 3 weeks, a month ago. Still hot as blazes, but I had, this idea of doing Pentalanthus right here next to to kind of conceal the air conditioning unit, and expected every leaf to fall off, expected the branches to collapse. It's done neither. This plant is actually throwing off new growth, which is amazing considering this was planted as cuttings. But I'm seeing new leaves popping out all over this plant. So this is exciting. I mean, I take off the yucky dead ones every day, just pick a few of them off. But this has really defied expectations too. The xeriscape is xeriscaping very, very nicely. This is what it's all about, guys. In a good xeriscape, it's as much about the rocks as it is the plants. I've got mounds, I've got boulders, I've got flagstones, I've got pots, I got Greg's beautiful fountain. This just brings me so much joy. I just love this bed. So, announcement, see, aren't you glad you stuck it out till the end? Tomorrow, we are leaving for Palm Springs. About 4 months ago, we went ahead and booked an Airbnb because we have been so disappointed that the kids have not been able to make it up to the ranch due to illness or work or whatever, life. We just haven't got together as a family, like a big family, all of us, since we celebrated our daughter's birthday up at the ranch 2 years ago. So Greg and I thought we'd dangle a little carrot. Palm Springs is a lot closer, 2.5 hours out as opposed to 12.5 hours out. And they bit, and we're all converging on this Airbnb to spend some really great quality time together. I will take you along too. We leave, like I said, we're going tomorrow. I will show you all around the Airbnb, and then maybe Greg and I will go out into the town and look for some really cool landscapes that we can feature or something. I don't know, but we're going to have a blast, and I'm really, really excited for you to see it. Then we have, when I get back, Susan Auck and I are going to be coming at you from a local nursery up here in Vista to kick off a campaign for breast cancer awareness in October, with proceeds being donated again to the Pink Fund. So the Cactus will be back up on the shelf in the store, and Susan's going to have a really special offering on her end as well. So look for that. I know Bentley the succulent dog really wants to make a cameo, so let's let him out so you can see how he's doing. Now remember, he's not allowed back here because I do not want him peeing on my garden, but let's hope that he will be a good boy. You be a good boy? Yeah? You want to come out and say hello to your fans? Come on, come on. Say hello. Bentley is doing great. He's really settling in up here. We have, you know, our little routine, our little path that we take for our walk in the morning, and he's been, you know, just a super happy dog. He's making friends, and yeah, everything's going great, guys. Thank you so much for your continued support, for your subscriptions, for your comments, for sharing this video with your garden-loving friends. Until tomorrow in Palm Springs, this has been Lori Eubanks of Design for Serenity with Walkabout Wednesday and your succulent tip of the day. Bye, guys.